That was Any Dreams by Saint Sister. Hailing from Northern Ireland, Morgan McIntyre and Gemma met in Dublin in 2014 and quickly gained a lot of attention. They were voted the best Irish act by the readers of the Irish Times in 2016, and then in 2018, their debut album, Shape of Silence, was nominated for the Choice Music Prize. They recently released a powerful sophomore album called Where I Should End, and Morgan and Gemma joined me virtually to tell me more about it. I'm so excited to have you guys on the show. Thank you so much for being with us today, and congratulations on your new album. I must admit, that song we just heard, Any Dreams, was definitely on my summer playlist, on repeat, kind of an obsession of mine. The album has 10 tracks on it, which really tackle a lot of issues, identity, love, and loss. Morgan, can you tell me what the title, Where I Should End, refers to?
Yeah, well, it comes from the opening line of the album. My brilliant friend traces where I should end and where I should begin. And I guess for us, it's kind of a statement of intent. The whole album kind of circles around this idea, as you said, of identity and who you are in relation to other people and what happens when your boundaries start to kind of become more fluid and how you retain your sense of self. So that's kind of what that means. And I guess it makes sense for us in particular because we spent the last 3 years living inside each other's pockets, and a lot of the songs are from both of our experiences. So it's really how do you exist when you live beside somebody else and kind of in somebody else's life and orbit around each other. So that's what it refers to for me.
So this is your second album. You have such a unique sound that you've managed to create in an industry that's really dominated by loud pop. You really stick out. You guys yourselves have described your own music as at most folk. Gemma, could you help us define what this is? How does it sound?
Yeah, that term kind of came about when we recorded our first EP, which was back in 2015, and yeah, it was kind of thrown around initially, almost like as a bit of a joke, but I guess it kind of stuck because it is quite descriptive, and I guess it does paint a bit of a picture if you haven't heard the music. It's not a term that we're particularly hanging on to, but I think anything that paints a picture and tells someone how something might sound kind of helps. But yeah, I guess the music is folk at its core. I think in this album we kind of expanded that a little bit more, and there's a few different kind of sound palettes going on, and yeah, we didn't. I think the vocals, and particularly in the live show, the vocals and the harp are kind of at the center of it, and yeah, I think that's maybe where that came from.
Because you mentioned the harp there, you really blend, as you said, all these palettes. You've got a lot of electronic sounds, drums as well, and then the harp, which is a lot of people associate with traditional Irish music. Morgan, how much are you guys influenced by traditional Irish music?
Oh, so much. But I guess we're influenced by everything. Everything that we listen to subconsciously feeds its way back into the music that we make. But we do listen to a lot of that, and Gemma in particular grew up playing a lot of that music. I kind of made my way into the Irish traditional scene and folk scene through kind of traditional songs and ballads. But it's just such an evocative genre of music, and it's all rooted, as most kind of folk music is based on storytelling, and that's the element of making music that I love so much. So I think that's why it feeds in.
And one thing that works so well is your two voices that just blend together so beautifully. Let's actually take a listen to that. This is on another track on your album. It's actually a live version of one of the tracks on the album called Manchester Heir. Take a listen.
And I knew by your grip that you knew what I meant. Said whatever happens, this is now and it's heaven. Ooh, ooh. And bearing in mind we were waking up late and staying up later, my body can't go.
So beautiful how your voices blend together there. That was Manchester Heir by the duo Saint Sister. Now, that song is a reference to a time when abortions were illegal in Ireland, forcing so many Irish women to have to travel to the UK, to the mainland, to access abortion services. Now, that changed in Ireland in 2018 with a referendum. Ireland is changing, unlike other places like Texas. Would you say, Morgan, that you are the voice of a new generation in Ireland?
Oh, well, that feels like quite a big responsibility, but I guess we are trying to use our voices to raise issues that are important to us, and there's a really strong community of musicians that are doing that, and they're making incredible political music, or if they're not, if the music itself is political, they're making incredible political statements online and at their gigs and stuff like that. So it does feel like it's a good time to be part of the music community, and that there's a drive to change where we live for the better.
And so you finished this album right before the coronavirus lockdown kicked in. Gemma, can you tell me what you guys did with this extra free time that we all had on our hands? Some people were very creative and used it to do useful things. Other people, it was a time of reflection. What did you guys do at this time?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of both. I think everyone went through so much in that period. For us, yeah, as you said, the album had just been finished just before really it all kicked off. So I think initially it was just kind of a regroup and a reassess, and everyone's plan changed. So the plan of how we were going to bring it out, that naturally changed. But it gave us more time to really focus on like the visual side of this album, and like how we want to, although it was finished musically, we hadn't really dived into the artwork or the videos or any of that kind of like the world in which it lives in, or the live show or anything like that. So it really just gave us lots of time, I think, to think about that and bring it to life in a new way. And yeah, that was kind of our focus, and we both took some time like working on our individual kind of crafts and what we wanted to do like separately and together, and we just we mostly the visual side of the album. I think that's for me what that period felt like, and that's having that time in between finishing it and releasing it kind of just gave us allowed us to fall in love with the songs again and find our way back into them. And it really was such a lovely moment then when we were finally able to share it. I think it was almost the nicer for it because of the big wait.
So a little bit of a silver lining there to this such an unusual period. One of the songs on your album is called Karaoke Song, about an epic night out that you guys experienced. Karaoke can be so stressful. I always stress out and don't know what song to go for. I usually go for Dancing Queen by ABBA, who are releasing a new album, their first in 40 years. This will be in November. They're already at the top of the charts. Very quickly, what is your go-to karaoke song? Gemma, maybe start with you.
Mine is Avril Lavigne, I'm With You.
And Morgan, how about you?
You're So Vain by Carly Simon.
Good songs. I'd love to hear you guys sing those, maybe another time. We're going to move on to some other music news-making headlines. Here in Paris, the La Villette Jazz Festival is underway, and in its pre-COVID-19 format and configuration. This is an annual performance festival for trailblazers in the jazz scene, and this year's edition features an eclectic lineup, including a tribute to Prince from the French musician Jane Added, and a celebration of the late Manu Dibango, the famous Cameroonian alto saxophonist, passed away in March 2020 following complications from COVID-19. Now, also playing at the festival is the great Angélique Kidjo. Let's take a listen to her song Mother Nature featuring Sting.
We rise and weave the wave. Mother Nature has a way of warning us. A time bomb set on a lost countdown. Will you find it? Will you stop it? Won't you listen? We need each other now. We need each other now. Each one of us, each one of us, we need each other.
Next, the Canadian rapper Drake has dropped his hotly anticipated 6th studio album. It's called Certified Lover Boy. Originally set for a January release, it was actually pushed back 9 months, which might partially explain the cover artwork by British artist Damien Hirst, which apparently upset quite a number of Drake fans who said they find it quite lazy. Now, they can find solace in the 21 tracks on the album, featuring an impressive lineup of guests, including Jay-Z, Nicki Minaj, and Lil Wayne. Here's this little gem off the album. It's called Way Too Sexy.
Okay, alright, that's fine, okay. I'm feeling too sexy to accept requests. Way too sexy. And I'm way too sexy to go unprotected. Way too sexy. And she popped a Tesla, now she gonna let you. Okay, alright, that's fine, okay. Think we got too sexy for that metro housing. Way too sexy. Diamond popped out, almost swallowed 60,000. 60 pieces. Section need more things in here, I like it crowded. Hey, whoa, whoa.
Finally, 77-year-old living legend Diana Ross is returning to music with her first album of original material in 22 years. It's called Thank You, and it is her 25th studio album. Now, she wrote it during the lockdown, and it was made with a variety of contemporary pop producers, including Jack Antonoff, who is known for his work with Taylor Swift, Lana Del Rey, and Lordi. And we're going to leave you with the lead track off that album. But before we go, I want to thank my guests, Morgan and Gemma from the band Saint Sister. Thank you so much for being with us today. Be sure to check out their latest album, Where I Should End. It's wonderful. I've been listening to it all summer. I couldn't recommend it more. Now, for more arts and culture news, head to our website and stay in touch on social media. And stay tuned to France 24. More news is coming up right after this.
Since I create positive and negative, it's which one I give the most attention that is powerful. When I think positive constantly, it's very powerful.